It's so hot, and there's nothing to do. I'm so bored. This is why I hate living in a small backwards town like Hinamizawa.
Would you stop complaining? If you're so bored, why don't you go and do something productive, like studying?
You're joking, right? But it's summer. I'm so over school.
Then go visit your grandparents. Just the other day they asked me how you were doing. I think it would be a good change of pace for you.
I guess. I mean, I haven't seen them since last year's Obon Festival.
There you go. That should be more than enough of a reason to go visit them. I'm sure they have ice cream or something cool you could munch on.
You got a point. I guess I'll go. But it's so far out in the countryside. It'll take me at least an hour on bike.
As a 14-year-old, you sure don't seem to have a lot of energy in you. Well, better start now before it gets dark. I'll make sure to call them that you're on your way there.
What a pain. Wish we had taxis here. I guess I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah. I got my bike ready and then quickly headed out. The only good thing about the countryside would be how nice and clean the air is compared to the crowded city. But regardless of that, you can't find a meaningful job here in this town. That's why most young people in Hinamizawa move out into the city. Hopefully, I'll be able to do the same when I graduate. Huh? What was that noise? I stopped my bike for a second to hear closely at my surroundings. I guess it must have been my imagination. Oh well. I resumed my journey to my grandparents' house. After a couple minutes of riding my bike through the country road, I finally reached their house. I was welcomed with warm hugs, especially from my grandma. It's so nice to see my grandson again. You look a little too skinny. Have you been eating?
Let the boy be. He just needs a good workout to grow some muscles.
How would you know, you old geezer? All you do is lay around the house watching your baseball.
What was that?
My time with them just consisted of talking about how I was doing and helping them out around the house. Nothing out of the ordinary. The next day, I decided to go out and play with my soccer ball on the lawn in front of the house, since the heat wasn't too bad. After a couple of minutes, I had gotten a bit tired and decided to take a small nap on the lawn. I wasn't tired enough to fall asleep, but just enough to just close my eyes to relax while listening to the sound of nature around me. I gradually started to hear a faint, familiar noise coming from the other side of the hedge. The noise started to get louder and louder with every second that passed. I opened my eyes to find a white hat sticking out of the other side of the hedge. It slowly drifted from one corner of the hedge to the gate at a steady pace. I got up quickly with curiosity and stood there waiting to see who it was. Whoever they might be. They must be really tall if I was able to see them over the 7-foot hedge. Suddenly, the windy breeze went silent, and not a single sound could be heard. Not even the faint, familiar noise I was hearing just a couple seconds ago. Everything was in silence. The only thing I could hear was my slow-paced breathing and the throbbing of my heart. I looked desperately at the gate with anticipation to see who it was. But right when I expected the reveal of the tall person walking on the other side of the hedge, nothing appeared, as though the person vanished into thin air. I decided to walk over to the gate slowly to see what it... I was terrified, and without being able to react to what I saw, it vanished without a trace. I can't seem to forget that elongated face of hers. Her eyes were as black as the abyss, and her skin was as pale as the snow. None of her physical attributes compared to that of a normal human, but she definitely looked like one at a quick glance. I stood there, staring at the place where I saw this tall woman for a good minute or two, trying to comprehend what I just saw. I quickly snapped out of my trance and got goosebumps from just thinking about the woman's face. I decided to go inside to tell my grandparents about what I saw, and if they knew anyone around town who resembles her. They stood quiet and in shock. My grandmother started sobbing as though some tragedy happened. But as for my grandpa, he quickly grasped me from the shoulders and demanded me to answer some questions regarding this tall woman.
How tall was this woman?
Grandpa, what's wrong? And why is Grandma crying?
God damn it, Yusuke. Just answer my question.
Okay. She was taller than the front yard's hedge.
What was this woman wearing?
She was wearing a white long summer dress with a white summer hat.
Does she have jet black hair? And skin as pale as snow?
Yeah. How did you...
My God.
What? What's wrong, Grandpa? Why did you say that? What's going on? Grandma just kept sobbing. I wasn't sure what the significance of seeing her meant. Was she some nutcase murderer wandering around here? Was she a wanted criminal or something? I have no idea. But what I do know from the little information I can gather, and the reaction from my grandparents, it's that she's bad news. Dear, we must call Mr. Koakawa as soon as possible.
Already on it.
Who's Mr. Kurokawa?
He's a friend of ours, who also happens to be a priest from the local shrine.
Wait, why do we need a priest? You still haven't explained what's happening.
Follow me.
I followed Grandpa to his storage room where he grabbed an old dusty box from the stack of boxes. As he placed it down onto the floor, you could hear the contents rattling inside. From the sound of it, it seems to be a bunch of books. He opened the box and started searching through the stack of books within. He eventually stopped and picked up a book that looked like it belonged in the 1900s, with its old antique style of leather binding. He dusted off the book before opening it up to confirm that it was the right one. I was able to take a glimpse of what it was about. It looked like it was some kind of journal. Grandpa glared at the book for a second before changing the page. It was as though the book brought him some sort of uneasiness. And I'd say for a good reason too, considering they freaked out about what I saw earlier today. And then, Grandpa took a big breath and said,
Yamazaki Ito, Makoto Sayuki, Tanaka Ryuji.
Huh?
These are the children who died in the past increments of 10 years by a demon that goes by the name of Hachishakusama.
Hachishakusama?
It is defined as an old entity of 8 feet tall who takes on the appearance of a woman in white clothing.
Wait a minute. That's...
Yes. It was the same woman you saw earlier. Unfortunately, this thing was sealed for hundreds of years in Hinamizawa's shrine. It was only about 50 years ago that the seal was broken due to some hooligans accidentally knocking over the northern statue of Jizo. At the time, Hachishakusama was just a legend and no one really took it seriously. At least not until children started to go missing one after another. The village was in disarray, to the point that the population slowly dwindled over the past couple of years, in fear that their children might be next.
Why can't the shrine priest just fix the northern statue of Jizo and reseal the thing?
If it was only that easy, this wouldn't even be an issue today. The ancient sealing chants that used to seal this creature have been lost to us for hundreds of years. Not even the head priest of the village shrine knows them. All he knows are techniques that could sway the creature's target, although there's only a 40% chance of success.
There's no way. You gotta be joking, right?
Fool! This is no laughing matter.
One look at my grandpa's face says it all. He was dead serious. Throughout my whole life that I've known Grandpa, not once have I ever seen him this serious. Just thinking about it frightened me to the core. It's just crazy to think that demons exist. I soon came to the realization that I could die from this demon called Hachishakusama. I could feel my heart panicky in disbelief, hoping that this was all an elaborate prank set up by my grandparents to scare me. But it wasn't. I knew that it wasn't. I knew that this was reality. I looked directly into the eyes of my grandpa and my grandma. What's going to happen to me? Am I going to die? Grandma? Grandpa?